5 in the truck, luggage in the back, carpooling at its best. Believe that.
Sure.
Yeah. Usually the short straw. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Counselor Aiken.
What you said.
Nope.
Well, I'll start out with UBCM. I went to a bunch of sessions. There was like local government engagement, provincial First Nations negotiations, started downtown, which I remember where it's, so I was there. Activity in housing versus after zoning updates, manufacturing homes, jobs, and prosperous communities. There's a real push by the government to speed up the production of homes, and one of the ways you're going to do it is by doing prefab or modular homes. So they're really pushing for. And it's interesting to see how some of these companies are sort of going about that. They, like you think modular trailer, that's not the case these days. So
What's that?
like you think a modular, like you think a trailer, but that's not the case these days. Totally nice houses are coming in as a modular built there, which is gonna make a lot of sense moving forward, like this, the shortage of labor, and you know, it's the less waste and everything else that goes along with building a factory, which if they said houses, you're the only thing that building a factory these days, which is true.
Yeah.
What else did I do there? There's another one at Mass Timber where they're using like these big beams and stuff that are laminated or doweled, and they're making like high rises of them now. And the real advantage is that they go up real fast, like way shorter than a concrete structure. And you're able to go 18 story, which is kind of mind boggling with wood. That's something new that it's being developed. So again, speed up housing and stuff, reduce costs, everything else. Went to emergency management, and climate readiness, navigating Heritage Conservation Act changes. The mayor spoke at that one, and yeah, it's serious business. So it's not like us. To make changes that might affect us as far as doing any kind of excavation in the community that could kill us if we pay all these fees on this. And I think the mayor spoke to that. It was a good answer, but I think they're aware of the issues that we have with them. I also went to Silver Lunch, SLR dinner. I also met with ICPC. I'm not sure if anybody else did there, but I got a contact for the ICPC person that covers our area. And I know, Joe, you're looking at the Station Hill intersection there. And there might be an idea to reach out to these people and get them on board because they have all the stats. They can put pressure on MRTI because there's something wrong with that intersection. I almost got me out today. But yeah, there was just a big blind spot or something there. So yeah, people are pulling out. Not seeing people.
Is it the bottom of Station Hill?
Yeah, both ways there. Us coming into town there, it's a full rate of economy. It's pretty common. So yeah, we can get ICPC on the case and some action there. I went to the Lowett Agriculture and Food Society EGM at the hub. It's pretty amazing what they're doing there. Like, yeah, I'm glad that we're supporting that. Hub building tax breaks, because what they're doing is great for the community. They do the farmers market with the coupons and stuff, and people would normally buy fresh vegetables and stuff. And yeah, the investment they get, they're putting it back into the community almost 4 times as much. So yeah, it's a good organization. It's a good figures. And the last one there, I went to met Bill Chu. He's from the Chinese community, and he wants us to acknowledge the Chinese community. And one of the ways he wants to do that is to put some sort of archway in the cemetery. I know this came back from the Mayor Council like 3 terms ago. And my understanding was it was the lot beside the cemetery. But when I met with him on Saturday, he was talking right in the cemetery. But something, yeah, like bringing the ground penetrating radar to see where to put the footings. So, yeah, it's gonna bring it back to council, but yeah, I think it's needed. We need to do some sort of acknowledgement, but how we go about that is going to be a real challenge, I think.
So I just have a question, like 3 terms ago, they were going to build it, and I think we all understood, Councillor Weed, that it was on the next lot. Like, I think that's what they,
Yeah, so something's changed there. Something's changed, like we're right up on the knoll of the cemetery. And, yeah, there's a grave here, right there, and we're talking, like, some footings around this. It's like,
oh,
I met with Mr. Chu 2 years ago at the cemetery as well.
yeah,
And yeah, and it was to be on the knoll and looking one direction, so it was looking out across the river, and yeah, it wasn't on that side, but it was actually right on the right-hand side knoll, looking, I'm not even gonna say which direction, because I get lost in the telephone, but yeah.
yeah, I don't know, we need to do something, I think, there, but I think staff needs more. Screw, figure something out there. Yeah, you start thinking about the contributions to Chinese natives community. The turn of the century and up until now, but yeah, there should be some sort of acknowledgement. I was surprised with a couple Chinese graves in the cemetery, one Chinese grave.
mhm.
Yeah, he's pretty passionate about it. He brought like 50 people on the bus. I stuck around and let karaoke started.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing I just wanted to acknowledge is the deer thing that we put out on the Facebook and the paper. But are we still gonna meet with the COs?
Yeah, I've asked the department.
Yeah, okay. I think that's a start there. It's more we need to do.
Did you, talk to anybody that, like, in the cookies or anything that had deer issues too?
I didn't talk to them.
I only talked to one person and they had no, like, they've had deer all over the place too. And just, it's so controversial. I don't know if the answer is. Good report, good report. Counselor Fun.
I'm gonna condense this because we're so late here, but still probably long. So everyone knows, we were council, apart from Councilor McNary, we were down at UBCM. Some of the highlights, I attended healthcare, heart of the community session. Minister Josie Osborne was there, and it was about exploring challenges in rural healthcare. A lot of the issues were what we've sort of dealt with, but one of the take-backs I got out of it was mentioned that it now takes 3 new doctors to replace 1 retiring doctor. So that sort of blew my mind there, and I guess it's really highlighting about recruitment and retention, which we've been going through. But yeah, we're now at 3 to 1 from what we're doing for doctors there. It was also emphasized as well for your welcome wagons for the healthcare is to include your school districts as well in there. Because they will be coming in for helping to attract staff, because some staff will have children going into school. So I don't know if we have included schools in sort of our welcoming there, but it's something that I think about doing. I attended libraries on the front line. Libraries really, they've evolved more to a community hub. I didn't realize that library staff they've actually become frontline workers. They're now having to do the challenges they're dealing with, or the opioid crisis. They're needing training in mental health, naloxone, public safety. They gave a report there that the Okanagan Regional Library has recorded over 450 incidences in their library since 2024 related to opioid and homelessness. So libraries are actually becoming more, well, they really need to be recognized more for the role that they're playing. There was a resolution that went through to get more funding from 14 million to 30 million, which was unanimously supported by the UBCM delegates. But then again, in Premier Eby's address at the end of UBCM, he basically said, yeah, libraries are on our radar, but there's no money, so I don't give any of that resolution. I attended a tiny homes for rural housing. It was very interesting. I do think that the tiny homes are going to play a real role. for housing options. And I think that all councils really need to keep an eye on where this is going. It is kind of, there's a lot of provincial guidelines, to do with zoning and building code and everything, but tiny houses are homes are actually getting closer to being, in line with the, building code and on the same lines as modular homes there. One I enjoyed doing, I attended an invasive species risk and community readiness. As we all know, we've had our presentations and that about invasive species and the risk for wildfire infrastructure and everything. Really good presentation, lots of photos. I did have a question period at the end where I did take the opportunity to stand up and just speak about the work that the Lillooet Regional Invasive Species Society has been doing in Lillooet, and did acknowledge Jackie Rasmussen's leadership for it. And I did share how we are working on bylaws about not selling invasive species and also looking into the nuisance act. So I was actually kind of proud to showcase us and what's going on here in Lillooet. There was a keynote speaker, listened to Marcy Grossman, resolutions, which is always my favorite part of UBCM, took part in those. Attended Cabinet Town Hall for Stronger Communities. It was more a question answer period with Ministers Boyle, Osborne and Farnsworth. Thursday, I attended a session, the Cowichan Tribes Aboriginal Land Court decision. Supreme Court granted Cowichan Tribes Aboriginal title to approximately 780 acres in Richmond. This really does have significant impacts for all local governments. It was a really complex session. There were lots of questions, different questions raised, but it is something that all councils really should be looking into, like monitoring. They did say that the declaration is actually suspended right now for 18 months while Richmond and the Cowichan tribe work through details. But it's something that people should keep in the back of their mind here. That was pretty much it for UBCM. On our return on the Friday night, September 26th, Mayor Hopeful, myself and Mr. McCulloch, we stopped in at the back of the rec center to have a look at the Adventure Racing World Series that stopped in Lillooet. Amazing. We had a chance to meet some of the crew behind the event. They took time to explain how the whole thing worked. Didn't realize how huge it was, 60 teams from 25 countries, racing over 700 kilometers nonstop, night and day, through some pretty intense BC terrain when you were following the whole thing, traveling by foot, bike, water, ropes, like navigating it, with just a map and a compass. They did have a GPS on them so that people could follow them online to see where teams were. Teams of 4 that must include 1 woman, and they had to stick together right from the beginning to the end. Fantastic to see Lillooet play such a part in, really, it's a very unique event. So thank you to the Adventure Racing World for coming through here, and full respect to the racers and also the folks behind making this happen. And talking behind the scenes, I just want to take a moment to thank Mr. McCulloch for his role in bringing it to Lillooet. From what I understand, there was over a year of communication and coordination between himself and RWS organizers. I hope he'll share at some point what's all involved here, maybe in a CA report. But this is a really great example of all of the behind the scenes work that happens out in Municipal Hall and what comes about to bring these exciting opportunities to our community. So thank you. Also, just a reminder, it is Mental Illness Awareness Week in Canada this week. Theme is raising awareness, reducing stigma, and encouraging open conversations about mental health. Basically, it's a reminder that help is available through health services, family doctors, and 24-hour supports like 988 suicide crisis helpline. And of course, we've got Thanksgiving coming up, so I hope everybody enjoys good food with good company, and if not, just focus on the pie. And that's it.
Okay. Counselor McNary.
I'm not gonna be as long-winded. I attended a TNRD meeting. It's Friday. And, they're still having problems with what's going on. They get a presentation from the higher ups. And it's just repeat of what they've been doing there. I don't know what they're doing. And I don't think they do neither, because it just goes on and on. It's the same thing every year, it seems to be. And I think people are getting frustrated with it. And that's the way it is. And another thing is the merit. And the natives are putting in their own hospital, and the merit, mayor there, I think he's the mayor. He's given up on fighting with the government over it, because everybody's starting to go to the native hospital. And I think they're gonna come to the conclusion that, you know, is that hospital funded federally or provincially? And I think that's what the provincial government's doing, is kind of letting that happen. And I don't know whether the feds understand it or not. And we have to be careful here too. It's happening here also. And will it happen to us? I don't know. It's just something that to consider for us.
It is, they're building it in silos, and
Yeah,
you can't have two working entities share the people. It's just.
and I think the provincial government is leading towards that. So they can pull out of these little communities.
Yeah.
It's not where the votes are at, so.
That's why we have you in there to.
Yeah, they don't like me that much.
Perfect. No, we do.
But
Yeah.
other than that, I had a pretty good little break there myself that I needed.
Well, we missed you at UBCM.
I'll go next year.
Okay. Counselor Weed.
Let's
You
see.
really want to hear from me?
Certainly.
Should I be careful with what I say? I attended,
That would be a first.
well, it's the first you in a t-shirt, so what can I say? At UBCM, I attended the healthcare heart of the community along with, well, not with, but at the same time as the mayor and Councillor Flan. I don't know what to take away from it, actually. I had a whole bunch of notes about how the domino effect, you know, when they have ER closures and then you've got ambulances going, and then there's a domino effect at the other hospital, and on it goes. But it was interesting. They had a speaker there from Northern Health. And I just happened to be sitting beside a lady who's within Northern Health. And everything that came out of the gentleman's mouth, she was saying, BS, BS. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go again, where a lot of lip service and nothing else. Then I was also attending a disorderly downtown. And it was really quite interesting and a little depressing on how these people end up where they end up, because it kind of starts with not all of them. A lot of them are mentally ill to start with. I get that. But a lot of them end up homeless, and then they get depressed, and then they turn to drugs, and then the drugs lead to mental illness. And it was just, it was eye-opening, but sad. And not everybody knows, but most of you know, the next morning I had a fall, and Councillor Flan and I spent the whole day at the Royal Jubilee Hospital, which is under Island Health. And then on the Wednesday, I came home. Friday, I ended up at our hospital, which is Interior Health. And I will honestly say, as bad as it is not as bad as some of the other places, because we were 6 or 7 hours at Royal Jubilee, and then they handed us a tensor bandage. And if Councillor Flan hadn't been there, I probably would have been wheeling myself down to X-ray, because that's about where we sat. And at least at Interior Health, I got properly looked at and taken care of. And I really appreciate everybody who was down there at UBCM along with me. Like, you went above and beyond what you had to, right from Councillor Aiken having my room key so he could have a view, but he also left me some snacks to snack on, and Vivian Birch Jones brought me an apple in the morning. And like I say, just Joe wrapping up my foot, and everybody bringing meals and supper, lunch, whatever. So I really appreciate it, and hopefully I'll be at the next council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, here you go.
So my CEO report will be next week, or the next council meeting, sorry, just because we're kind of sync with that just now. So my CEO reports on the second council meeting every month. So I'll do a little bit more of a detailed response on that. Firstly, UBCMs, I've been to 10 years worth of UBCMs. This was easily the best UBC, one of the best, if not the best UBCM I've been to. It was fantastic. We got a lot of really good meetings. We got a lot of really good value for money. We got a lot out of it. I got a lot out of it. I think council got a lot out of it. And in the coming months, we're going to start explaining what we got out of it as a community, and the community will see what we got out of it as well. So these are expenses. It costs money to go to UBCM, and it is value. It's money well spent. It's good value for it. Big things to take away from me are the jobs that staff do when we're all away. When I'm away, these guys are the ones holding down the fort, and they always need to get a thank you as well. Darryl's new to the job. He's only been here for 2-3 weeks, and I disappear to UBCM. That's hard going. Eldon's been here for 2-3 weeks. I disappear. That's hard. He's down a couple of staff members. That's really difficult. Christina and all the ladies in the office, Megan, Corinne, Paula, they all do a phenomenal job when we're all away. And they keep everything moving forward right in the middle of tax season, tax permissives and permissive taxes and the questions. And they did a really, really good job when we were away. And I think council need to know that when we're away, doing the kind of high profile stuff that we do when we're away there, and we enjoy it. We're very well supported from staff when we're away. There's complaints, there's issues, there's problems. Corey had to deal with an airplane crash. There's major things that happen when we're away. The staff just seamlessly carry on with it. And council and the community need to know how good staff are when we're out of town, and how diligent they are. And I think that's really important just to kind of acknowledge. There's a lot that happened at UBCM. We had BC Hydro meetings. We've got some information to share with the community moving forward. We're working on a joint communication strategy with BC Hydro just now. I hope to be able to share that. Interior Health, our BC Hydro tonight shared the plans of hopefully an upcoming hotel in the close future. That's a very exciting meeting that I've been getting involved in. That and the implementation of the new seniors housing area above our CMP. And it's the small conversations, like the mayor said, in between the corridors that kind of help. First Nations have asked me to attend today ministerial meetings for First Nations. And their equivalent of UBCM. And their equivalent is the BC Cabinet and First Nations Leader Gathering, which is next month. That's the First Nations equivalent of UBCM. So our bands have now asked me to attend on behalf to actually talk about economic development, housing, and what other kind of economic development opportunities we can work on together. That's a phenomenal an option. Probably not many communities have that option to send their CEO down there for a day just to meet with the ministers with our First Nations groups. That's again showing what the collaboration that we're doing in the council meetings and the importance in relationship building is. So I've now been invited to get down there and speak on behalf of the District of Lillooet. So these things come out of partly working with UBCM and then partly working with our partners. I think that the opportunity to facilitate the meetings with the minister is a once in a lifetime opportunity that I hold very personally up there. That'll go on the resume for sure. That's a good one. I really enjoyed that. It was a really unique opportunity to kind of have 20 mayors from different communities asking questions and kind of hustling and bustling, and then the minister kind of answering questions as well and facilitating that. That was fantastic. But what I really take away from it is the opportunity to meet senior executives and staff and go through things that will impact this community: archaeology, Ministry of Transportation, health. All of these things are really, really important. And I think as a community, I think the community deserve to know how well council will represent the community, and then also how far we've came in a year. This time last year, we were sitting here and we had 78 closures in the hospital, and the community were outraged, the community were upset, and this council really led the charge on how to deal with that in a very, very productive and a very constructive way. Unlike any other municipality in PC, sat down and collaborated with First Nations, with the executives, interior health executives, with interior health staff, interior health CEOs, with the minister, the outgoing minister, the incoming minister, their staff, private contractors, other mayors, other communities, and really done Lillooet really, really proud, and then managed to get rural meetings going, and then on top of that, managed to secure 4 other doctors to now safeguard the community. We haven't had a closure since July, and it doesn't look like we're going to get any closures moving forward. That was in 1 year. That's a significant step forward, and that shows what happens. You heard it tonight from the new chief of staff and the executive. That's what happens when you do things the right way. And that's exactly what this council has done. I think we should be exceptionally proud of the work we've done on that. We all kind of do this now collectively as a group. We had the Nissan advert, couldn't tell anyone about it, but it was great news. We had the adventure racing, couldn't tell anyone about it, but it's phenomenal news, and it's a great impact. There's news coming out about BC Hydro agreements, there's news coming out about hotels, there's news coming out. So we're starting to see the kind of long-term legacy of this council and the great work that they're doing. And I think the community are really starting to see that. I think you should be very proud of yourself, especially after UBCM. I thought it was an excellent overall UBCM, and I think that I'm really looking forward to next year's kind of next stage of it. But for me, my CEO report tonight just goes back to the staff and how much they supported me and council when we were away. So thank you.
I'm a little bit concerned about the resume comment.
I was ignoring this.
Okay, 17. We have no new business and there's no questions from the media or public. So will somebody please move that the October 7th, 2025 regular council meeting be adjourned? Councilor McNary, Councilor Fine, all in favor, carried.
It's not been a long time yet, don't worry.